Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We welcome all of the wonderful devotees who have joined us over Facebook Live, devotees who have joined us over YouTube Live, and dear devotees who have joined us over Zoom. Especially, we would like to give a special warm welcome to all devotees from Suriname.
Welcome.
Jai Suriname Congregation Ki Jai. Welcome. Thank you all so very much for joining us today. So before we proceed to Vraja Meditations 2.0, this is day 8. We will announce and congratulate the participants of the quiz session from yesterday. We'd like to congratulate Hari Prasad Prabhu, Mother Amrita Radhika, Anjudi, Meera Bhushan Mataji, Hari Krishna Madhali Prabhu, Ananga Mohini Gopika, and Madhurya Lila Mataji from Suriname. Thank you all so very much for participating in the quiz session from yesterday.
So today we will discuss in Sri Vraja Meditations 2.0, day 8, which forest did Dhruva Maharaj perform austerities? Then we will go to Dhruva Tila, Krishna Kunda, Dauji Temple, Maholi Gaon. And then there, all of these places, we will offer heartfelt and meaningful prayers to all of these Lila Sthalis. And then we'll end by discussing the glories of Kartik and Japa tips with a sweet pastime to enhance our Japa. So yesterday, we walked around the divine city of Mathura and saw many wonderful places. We took our sankalpa in the waters of the Yamuna, and we took the permission and blessings of the 4 Kshetrapal Mahadev protecting the Dham in all 4 directions. And then we took the darshan of Keshav Dev, who is one of the 4 Devs of Sri Vrajadham. We also took darshan at the appearance place of Krishna Janmashtami.
Janmasthan.
And today we will walk around 11 kilometers, going from Mathura to Vrindavan. And this is one of our very short parikramas. So let's offer our obeisances at our starting point here in Mathura, which is at our tents at Kishori Raman College. Before we start our parikrama and we take the blessings of Shri Shri Radha Damodar, Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Vargas, begging them to please allow us to complete our parikrama of Shri Vraja Mandala. Let us understand that by doing this parikrama, we are actually engaging in one of the 9 processes of devotional service, which is Bhada Sevanam. By walking in the Lord's holy dham, we are directly serving the lotus feet of the Lord, which is basically going around the circle or a loop right or so. By doing this is called parikrama. Now our heartfelt prayer during this parikrama should be, O Lord Damodar, just as Mother Yashoda bound you with the ropes of her love, we beg you to please allow us to bind you also with our loving parikrama in our hearts. So with this wonderful prayer, feeling deeply ecstatic, we will start our parikrama walking towards Sri Madhuvan, and meditating on the beautiful form of Sri Keshav Devji, chanting and dancing along the way. So now we come to, after taking blessings from Sri Keshav Devji, we come to Dhruva Tila.
So as we remember that yesterday when we were in Mathura, at Dhruva Ghat, when we visited, we saw that in Mathura, in the Dhruva Ghat, we heard how Sri Narad Muni, how he instructed little Dhruva Maharaj. And after Dhruva Maharaj was instructed by the great sage Narada to go to Madhuvan, little Dhruva circumambulated Narad Muni, his spiritual master, and offered him his respectful obeisances. Then he started walking towards Madhuvan, which is always said to be imprinted with the lotus footprints of Lord Sri Krishna, and which is therefore especially extremely auspicious. Now, this Madhuvan that we are going to today, this actually is the first forest of the 12 forests of Vrindavan. So today, as Dhruva Maharaj is proceeding from Dhruva Ghat in Mathura, he is walking towards Madhuvan. Let us try to walk alongside little Dhruva with, Dhruva Maharaj is walking with great determination. Imagine a 5-year-old boy all by himself. He is walking along this road and he is going towards Madhuvan to fulfill the instructions that he has received from his spiritual master Narad Muni. So let us walk along with little Dhruva on his way to Madhuvan and let us witness all of the austerities that little Dhruva performed and how the Lord, being pleased with all those austerities, appeared to him and fulfilled all of his desires.
So one thing to notice here is while we are walking towards Dhruva Tila, Srila Radha Raman Maharaj pointed out to us that take a look at these trees. They are very, very tall trees, but their branches are downwards, as if they are all offering obeisances to the lotus feet of Sri Dhruva Maharaj. And the same thing we saw during our Panchakrosh Vrindavan Parikrama as well, that the trees, their branches are going all the way down, offering obeisances to the Dham. Dhruva Maharaj, he arrived at Madhuvan. He took his bath in the river Yamuna and observed fasting in the night with great care and attention. After that, as advised by the great sage Narada, he engaged himself in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the first month, Dhruva Maharaj, he ate only fruits and berries every third day, only to keep his body and soul together. And in this way, he progressed his worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then in the second month, he ate only every 6 days. And for his eatables, he took dry grass and leaves that we are looking at. And thus he continued his worship. Then in the third month, he drank only water every 9 days. And thus he remained completely in trance and worshiped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is adored by selected verses.
Now imagine this little 5-year-old boy, not even every day he is eating. And when he started drinking only water, he didn't even drink water every day. He drank water every 9 days. Means on the 9th day, he would drink a little bit of water. This is the austerity in the 3rd month that little Dhruva was performing. Then in the 4th month, it is said that Dhruva Maharaj became a complete master of the breathing exercise, and he just inhaled air only every 12th day. Imagine, he was breathing only once in 12 days. In this way, he became completely fixed in his position and worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
And by the 5th month, Maharaj Dhruva had controlled his breathing so perfectly that he was able to stand on his one leg, just as a column stands, without motion, and concentrate his mind fully on the Supreme Lord. And then he completely controlled his senses and their objects. And in this way, he fixed his mind without diversion to anything else except upon the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then when Dhruva Maharaj thus captured the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his heart, the 3 worlds began to tremble. And as Dhruva Maharaj, he kept himself steadily standing on one leg. The pressure of his big toe pushed down half the earth, just as an elephant being carried on a boat rocks the boat left and right with every step. Then, when Dhruva Maharaj practically one in heaviness he became with Lord Vishnu, the total universal breathing became choked up, and all the great demigods and all the planetary systems, they felt so suffocated that they took the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The demigods, they approached the Supreme Lord and they said, "Dear Lord, you are our only refuge. We feel all the living entities to be suffocating. Their breathing process is choked up. We've never experienced such a thing. Since you are the ultimate shelter of the surrendered souls, we have therefore approached you. Please save us from this danger."
And then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said that, "My dear Devatas, please do not be perturbed by this. It is actually due to the severe austerity and the full determination of my little devotee, little Dhruva, that this is all happening. He's completely absorbed in thoughts of me, and he is, because of him, the entire universal breathing has stopped. So you can safely return to your abodes. I will go to this boy and I will fulfill all of his desires. Therefore, you all be pacified. Everything will become normal. I am going now to take care of little Dhruva." Meanwhile, Dhruva Maharaj, he was, just completely absorbed in meditating on the form of Lord Narayan, because the description Narad Muni had given to Dhruva Maharaj in those days, Dhruva Maharaj or anyone, they were not so blessed like we are today. We have such great, vivid, description of the Lord, and Krishna Chaitanya, excuse me, that we can see the form of the Lord drawn by beautiful artists, by the description that Srila Prabhupada has given. And his disciples have drawn this Supreme Lord so beautifully that we can manifestedly see the Lord in front of us. But in those days, Narad Muni had explained to Dhruva how the Supreme Lord looks. And just by the way Narada had described to Dhruva, Dhruva Maharaj had picturized the Lord in his heart. And this we will hear in detail during our Japa tip section today. So Dhruva Maharaj, he had captured the Lord in his heart, but suddenly he saw that it was interrupted, because that, he had his eyes closed, he was standing on one leg, he was meditating. Suddenly the vision from his heart disappeared. The Lord was gone, because the Lord externally manifested in front of Dhruva. And, since Dhruva was not able to see the Lord in his heart, he immediately opened his eyes. And as soon as Dhruva opened his eyes, lo and behold, whom did he see? He saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally present, just as he had been seeing the Supreme Lord in his heart.
So when Dhruva Maharaj saw his Lord right in front of him, he was greatly agitated. He offered an obeisances and respect. He fell flat before him like a rod and became absorbed in the love of Godhead.
Haribo.
Now, Dhruva Maharaj, he was in ecstasy. He looked upon the Lord as if he were drinking the Lord with his eyes. He was kissing the lotus feet of the Lord with his mouth, and as if he was embracing the Lord with his arms. But all of this he was doing manasa, in his mind. Although Dhruva Maharaj was a small boy, he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a suitable language. But he was inexperienced and totally ecstatic in seeing the Lord. So he could not. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead could understand Dhruva Maharaj's awkward position. And out of his causeless mercy, he touched the conch shell to the forehead of Dhruva Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands.
Haribo.
And at that very moment, as soon as the Lord touched the conch shell, Dhruva Maharaj became perfectly aware of the Vedic conclusion and understood the absolute truths automatically, and his relationship with all the living entities. And in accordance with the line of the devotional service to the Supreme Lord, little Dhruva, he offered his beautiful, beautiful prayers. Dhruva Maharaj said, "My dear Lord, you are all powerful. After entering into me, within me, you have enlivened me with all my sleeping senses, my hands, my legs, my ears, my touch sensation, my life force, and especially my power of speech.
Haribo.
Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto you." And so the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Dhruva, son of the king, you have executed pious vows, and I also know the desire within your heart. Although your desire is very ambitious and very, very difficult to fulfill, I shall favor you with this fulfillment. All good fortune to you."
Haribo.
And then he continued, "My dear Dhruva, I shall award you the glowing planet known as the pole star, which will continue to exist even after the dissolution of the end of the millennium. And no one has ruled this planet, which is surrounded by all the solar systems, the planets and the stars, and keeping the pole star to their right, all the stars inhabited by the great sages, the Sapta Rishis, they circumambulate this planet, which continues to exist even after dissolution of all the others."
So then Lord Vishnu continued to say that after your father, he gives up his kingdom and he awards you his kingdom. He will go into the forest. He'll give you his kingdom. I bless you that you will rule continuously the entire world, not for 1 year, 2 years, but for 36,000 years. And all your senses will be continuing to stay as strong as they are now. And you will never become old. This is the benediction that Lord Vishnu gave to Dhruva, that he will always remain youthful. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead continued, it was not over yet. The Lord said, "My dear Dhruva, after your material life in this body," meaning that after you've ruled your father's kingdom for 36,000 years, you will then go to my planet, which is always offered obeisances by the residents of the other planetary systems. And it is situated above the planets of the Shapta Rishis, the 7 Rishis. And having gone there, you will never have to come back again to this material world. So saying this, giving this beautiful benediction, the Lord embraced Dhruva Maharaj, and then he finally disappeared. So in this way, the Lord fulfilled the desire of Dhruva Maharaj. And when Dhruva Maharaj, having achieved the purpose for which he had come to the forest, when he was returning back from the forest, when he was coming back to his father's home, Dhruva Maharaj was thinking to himself that, to endeavor to be situated, at the shade of the lotus feet of the Lord is not an ordinary task at all. But within just 6 months, I achieved that result, which even yogis and rishis for millions and millions of births, they are not able to achieve. I had darshan, direct vision of the Lord in front of me. The Lord blessed me in just 6 months. But what did I ask the Lord? I just asked the Lord for a materially high position. Alas, alas. Dhruva Maharaj was just contemplating, oh, what did I do? Look at me. I am so unfortunate. I approached the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is capable of cutting the chain of repeated birth and death, but still, I actually prayed to him for things which are perishable, for mundane things. This is the humility of a wonderful devotee as little Dhruva. Dhruva Maharaj, he actually, if we see in the entire conversation between Dhruva Maharaj and of Lord Vishnu, Dhruva Maharaj actually never opened his mouth. Although the purpose for him doing all this austerity was to get a position higher than his father's. He started with that determination that I want to get something higher than my father's. But when Lord Vishnu came, he actually did not ask. Dhruva Maharaj did not say that give me a position higher than my father's. But the Supreme Lord, he knows the heart of Dhruva. So he not only fulfilled that desire of Dhruva Maharaj, but gave him much, much more than that. Dhruva Maharaj was blessed with pure devotion to the Lord, to be elevated to the Lord's own eternal abode. So Lord Chaitanya, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Madhya Lila, in chapter 22, text 42, he describes the condition of Sri Dhruva Maharaj at this particular junction in this way. Sthanabhilashita tapasi sthitoham tvam praptavan deva muni draguhyam kacham vichalvam apidevya ratnam swamin kritarthosmi varam nayache.
So when he was being blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Dhruva Maharaj said, "Oh my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe types of penance and austerity. Now I've gotten you, who are so very difficult for the great demigod, saintly person, and kings to attain. I was searching after a piece of glass, but instead I have found a most valuable jewel.
Haribo.
Therefore, I am satisfied completely that I do not wish to ask for any other benediction from you."
Jai, 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 Shri Dhruva Maharaj ki Jai.
So with this prayer, let us take some darshan of the deities here at Dhruva Tila. Lord Narayan here in this deity, we can see he is in the center, and Narad Muni on one side and Dhruva Maharaj on the other side. And from here, we continue to walk through the forest and reach to our next destination. And this place that we see here, while we are walking to the next destination, we will see the forest, the Tapo Bhumi, the forest where Dhruva Maharaj performed his austerities right here. And during the Vrajamandal Parikrama, when I out of my curiosity, entered into this forest. It was so serene. I never felt this kind of serenity before, as I felt just looking at the forest and entering it inside.
Haribol.
And after some time, we had to leave because I had to go along with the parikrama. But that experience is still resonating within me. And it's such a wonderful, beautiful experience. By the tapasya of Dhruva Maharaj, this place has such spiritual, serene vibrations.
Hari Bol. Whenever Prabhu tells me this, I literally have goosebumps all over. So this is so true. And I literally saw, because we were there and we were waiting for Prabhu to come. And he just came running and he said, "Oh, this place is just really something different. This place is indeed, Dhruva Maharaj is still residing here eternally. Dhruva Maharaj is Tapabhumi. Jai Dhruva Tila ki Jai. Shri Dhruva Maharaj ki Jai. So in the same way that Dhruva Maharaj was able to get darshan of Lord Vishnu and he was able to ask for no mundane benediction at all. So in the same way, oh, this wonderful tapobhumi of Dhruva Maharaj, please bless us so that we may also never ask for anything mundane to the Supreme Lord, and may we only ask for the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to be able to please Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Vargas. Jai Shri Dhruva Maharaj ki Jai. So now we continue walking from Dhruva Tila. We walk towards our next destination, which is Krishna Kunda. And this is the path that we take. It is through the forest where Dhruva Maharaj did tapasya. So we can see here all the branches they are really tall trees, very, very tall trees, and yet their branches are touching the ground as if offering obeisances to Dhruva Maharaj, this wonderful little devotee. So when we walk towards Krishna Kunda, we will actually cross a very, very small village on the way. And here we see that the little boys and girls in the village, that is Prabhu during the Brajamandal Parikrama. And Prabhu brought some chocolate, little candy from the store. And because he was distributing all the Brajbasi kids, they came and they were surrounding Prabhu and they were taking, this candy from Prabhu. So it was a wonderful experience at this particular village going towards Krishna Kunda. So Krishna Kunda, it is said that Krishna, as Sri Gopal, as the cowherd boy, he would bring his cows for grazing here to this forest of Madhuvan. And once the cows and the calves were very, very thirsty and there was no water body around. So Krishna, he just manifested a kunda by striking his venu, his flute. He struck it onto the ground and sweet water came gushing out and formed this beautiful kunda. And the cows would drink the sweet waters of this particular kunda. And this cool nectarine waters of Krishna Kund in Madhuvan is also known as Madhu Kunda. Because Krishna, one of Krishna's name is Madhu, means Krishna is as sweet as honey. That is one of Krishna's name. So at the time, this is Krishna Kunda. So let us go down the steps of Krishna Kunda and we can take the waters of Krishna Kunda upon our head. So at this time around when Krishna was there, even now we can see so many, Madhuvan is actually filled with Kalpa Vriksha trees, with desire trees, covered with the most nectarian beehives, which would produce the sweetest of honey in all the creation for the pleasure of Krishna and the cowherd boys. So therefore, because this Madhuvan forest, this forest was giving so much honey, so much sweetness, therefore Krishna, called this forest as Madhuvan. And Krishna would perform sweet pastimes here with his gopas, with the cows, and also with the gopis. Krishna would perform, beautiful rasa Lila with the gopis on the banks of the Madhu Kunda or the Krishna Kunda in the season of autumn, in the autumn season. Krishna would do that. Jai Krishna Kunda ki jai.
So from Krishna Kunda, we come to Sri Dauji temple. Once when Lord Balaram had visited Vrindavan Dham from Dwarka, he met with Krishna's gopis and he wanted to deliver a special message from Krishna to them. He met them here in Madhuvan.
Haribo.
And Uddhava, he had also been sent by Krishna with a message for the gopis. And Uddhava met with the gopis at a place called Uddhava Kyari, which is located at the outskirts of Sri Nandagaon. And we'll visit that place very soon as well. So Lord Balaram, when he met the gopis here at Madhuvan, while he was narrating the beautiful qualities of Krishna to the gopis, in order to just pacify their feelings of separation after Krishna's departure from Vrindavan, Balaramji himself became so absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna that his complexion turned blackish.
Haribo.
There is a beautiful blackish deity of Balaramji in the Dao Mandir at the place where this pastime happened in Madhuvan. So let's have darshan here of Sri Dauji Maharaj in black complexion right here, even though he is white, but in meditation to Krishna, Balaramji became black. And on either side of Sri Dauji Maharaj are his eternal associates, Sri Revati Devi and Varuni. And we can see that Lord Balaram is holding a glass of Varuni in his left hand, and with his right hand, he is in a blessing mudra.
Jai 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 Shri Dauji Balaram Ji ki jai. And as we said, this Dauji Balaram temple is actually located on the banks of the Krishna Kund in Madhuvan.
So from Dauji temple, we go to Maholi Gaon. This will be our camping site tonight. Actually, one thing about the Balaram temple in Krishna Kund, when I was coming in Madhuvan to this temple with the parikrama, I was a little confused because everyone's saying, let's go to Balaram temple, Balaram temple. And when I went in there, it seemed like Krishna. It was like, Balaram, where is Dauji temple? Why is this called Dauji temple? Where is Dauji? And anyway, the parikrama was going, so I just had to take blessings and I just moved. But this question remained in my mind. And while researching for this virtual parikrama, I realized, oh, okay, Dauji has assumed the complexion of Krishna in meditation. That's what the confusion was. So now from here, we go to Maholi Gaon. This will be our camping site tonight. In the virtual Vrajamandal Parikrama, this is the place where Shatrughna, the illustrious brother of Lord Ram, he killed a demon called Lavanasura. In fact, Mathura was called as Madhupuri because of being ruled by a demon called Madhu. And in Treta Yuga, this Madhupuri was being ruled by Madhu's son, Lavanasura, who was especially wicked and atrocious. The sages of Madhuvan, they were completely being terrorized by Lavanasura. And so all of these sages, they approached Lord Ramachandra for protection in Treta Yuga from Madhu's son, Lavanasura. So Krishna asked Shatrughna, Lord Ram asked Shatrughna, the youngest brother, to come and kill this demon. And Shatrughna came, killed Lavanasura. It's a very mysterious pastime how he killed Lavanasura in such a wonderful way. But Lord Ram then coronated Shatrughna as the king of Madhupuri, and Shatrughna reigned this place, Mathura, as the king of Mathura in Treta Yuga. So then we have breakfast along with the devotees at Madhuvan, and we will have the great fortune of staying here tonight at the Tapo Bhumi, the place of austerity of Sri Dhruva Maharaj, the place where Sri Shatrughna Maharaj ruled, and along with Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who rested here in the night as well. During his Vrajamandal Parikrama, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu rested here in Madhuban.
Hari Hari Bo.
So now we end with the glories of Kartik. Today's quote is from Sri Hari Bhakti Vilas, which says, a person during the month of Kartik eagerly hears the topics of Krishna, delivers 100 generations of their family.
Hari Hari
So
Bo.
now that we have this opportunity to hear about Lord Krishna's pastimes during Kartik, let us not lose this opportunity. Take benefit of this opportunity, and 100 generations would be delivered of our families.
Hari 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 Bo. So now we will conclude our session with the Japa tips, which is a very sweet pastime that we will share, which will enhance our Japa. Now, this Japa tip that we are sharing this pastime that we can meditate upon before we start chanting our Japa. And we will definitely see the result that our Japa will be elevated to a completely different level altogether. So we know that Narada Muni instructed little Dhruva at Mathura to go to Madhuvan, which is one of the 12 forests, the first forest of the 12 forests of Vrindavan, and to perform austerities to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Narada Muni instructed little Dhruva to bathe in the Jamuna and meditate on the Lord. And after giving the 12-syllable mantra to little Dhruva of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Narada Muni, after he gave this mantra, he also gave a very vivid and a beautiful description of the Supreme Lord. So Dhruva would be able to meditate on the beauty of the Lord, and each and every one of the limbs of the Lord was described in great detail by Narada Muni.
Narad Muni, he describes to Dhruva that the Supreme Personality of Godhead's face is perpetually very beautiful and pleasing in attitude. And to the devotees who see him, he appears never to be displeased. He's always prepared to give benedictions to them. His eyes, his nicely decorated eyebrows, his raised nose and his broad forehead, they are all very beautiful. The Lord's form is always youthful. Every limb, every part of his body is properly formed, free from defects. His eyes, his lips are pinkish like the rising sun. He's always prepared to give shelter to the surrendered soul, and anyone who is so fortunate as to look upon him feels all satisfaction. The Lord is all worthy to be the master of the surrendered soul, for he is the ocean of mercy. The Lord is further described as having the mark of Sri Vatsa, or the sitting place of the goddess of fortune, and his bodily hue is deep bluish. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, Narad Muni described, is a person. He wears a garland of flowers, and he's eternally manifest with 4 hands which hold a conch shell, a wheel, a club, and a lotus flower. the entire body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva is decorated. He wears a valuable jeweled helmet, necklaces, and bracelets. His neck is adorned with the Kaustuva jewel, and he's dressed in yellow silk garments. In fact, the Lord is decorated with golden bells around his waist, and his lotus feet are decorated with golden ankle bells. All of his features are very attractive and pleasing to the eyes. He's always peaceful, calm, quiet, and very pleasing to the eyes and the mind.
In fact, Narad Muni continues to explain that the real yogis, they meditate upon the transcendental form of the Lord as he stands on the whirl of the lotus of their hearts, like jewel-like nails of his lotus feet, which always glitter. And he appears to be as radiant as millions of suns arising together. The Lord is always smiling, and the devotee should constantly see the Lord in this beautiful smiling form. As he looks as the Supreme Lord, he always makes his merciful glance towards his loving devotees. Krishna's vision is always so loving, and it becomes more loving when he glances upon his dear devotees. Narad Muni says that anyone who meditates upon the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this way, concentrating and meditating on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, and meditating on the auspicious form of the Lord, is very soon freed from all material contamination, and he does not come down from meditation upon the Lord at all. The Lord never, ever, ever escapes the heart of such a devotee who lovingly meditates on him.
Jai Param Purush Bhagavan ki Jai.
Jai.
Lila Purushottam Bhagavan Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki
Jai. Hare Krishna. So today we wish dearest Vinita Harjani Mataji a very, very happy birthday. Today is her birthday, and may Shri Shri Radha Madhava shower their choicest blessings upon her. We dedicate today's bhajan to her. Today we also dedicate our bhajan to our very dearest Rasika and her wonderful family, to our dearest Anjudi and her wonderful family, our dearest Hemangi Mataji and her wonderful family, to our dearest brother, our dearest Bhakti Mataji and Krishna Sharanam Prabhu, to our dearest Hari Prasad Prabhu, the family of our dearest Amrita Radhika, our dearest Keshavi and her wonderful family, and the wonderful devotees of the Sikandrabad, Hyderabad congregation. And we also dedicated to little Mehek.
May the Supreme Lord Nrsingadev and Sri Damodar Bhagavan grant protection and fearlessness to everyone. So we request everyone, as we are performing the Kirtan, Bhajan, to offer lamps to Sri Sri Radha Damodar in your own homes during the Bhajan. And it would be wonderful if you can turn on your cameras so that everyone can take wonderful darshan as well.
So the lyrics today is a very simple bhajan, and the lyrics have been shared in the chat. He Nath Narayana Hari, He Nath Narayana Hari, Jaya Gopala Krishna Murari, Jaya Gopala Krishna Murari, He Nath Narayana Hari, He Nath Narayana Keshava Govinda, He Yadava Madhava Mukunda, Krishna Keshava Govinda, Vasudeva Giridhari, Vasudeva Giridhari, He Nath Narayana Hari, He Nath Narayana Hari, He Satya Sanatana Prabhu, He Nitya Niranjana Vibhu, He Satya Sanatana Prabhu, He Nitya Niranjana Vibhu, Dinabandhu Dukhahari, Dinabandhu Dukhahari, He Nath Narayana Hari, He Nath Narayana Hari, Nath Narayana Hari, He Nath Narayana Hari. Hari Hari Bo.
Shri Damodar Bhagavan ki jai. Shri
Jai.
Yashoda Damodar ki. Shri
Jai.
Radha Damodar ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Gurudev ki
Jai.
So today's questions for quiz are: first, which limb of devotional service is executed while performing the parikrama?
Haribol. Second, whom did little Dhruva see when he opened his eyes?
Third, what did the Lord award little Dhruva?
Fourth, explain Krishna Kunda. Fantastic questions, dearest Ananga Mohini Gopika. Thank you so very much.
And now we can open the lines for questions and comments, realizations, or any reflections.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandavati Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
I thought you, Krishnam Charana Prabhu will share it. I thought waiting. So may I share my comments?
Yes,
Or I
please.
wait.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. So thank you so much for a wonderful session and taking us to Madhuvan. And seriously, Prabhu, you felt right, the serenity when you enter into that tapas done by Dhruva Maharaj. So we feel in the heart, but we seen that place which you shown, how he meditated on those days. So still it is persisting, right? So it's really mesmerizing. So we want to feel the pleasure as well. So when we go, parikrama that time, so I'll keep remember that one. And though Lord appeared in front of him, yeah, he didn't ask anything, right? Just seeing him, he has a thought of a material desire, but the unseen Lord, we do not have anything in our heart just to please the Lord. So that is very good, the aspect which we learned. So we need to please him always. That is the only motto. Service is our motto, right? In our sampradaya. So
Yes.
that clicked in my mind. And then Dauji temple also, it is very wonderful. So seriously, I just first looked at Sri Krishna, but you also feel the same. Because we in our heart, Dauji means quite
White.
complex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Krishna means tal. I mean, what is tal?
But then we realized that most of Dauji in Vrindavan, most of the Dauji deities, they are all black. Most of them are black.
Okay. So in many of the temple, it will be black, right, Mataji? In that
Yes.
place, Vrindavan, always it's so. And the Krishna Kunda also, you said, right? So that is very significant pastimes on that. So even Lord Krishna performed the rasa dance. I mean, with the gopis over there, I feel perform some pastimes. So it is very wonderful. Everything is wonderful, and the Japa tips also, along with the pastimes, you explain very nicely about the Lord, right? So the eyes and lips, everything. It's going deep meditation in our mind. We just close our eyes, and whatever the description you give about our Lord, so it is persist in our heart. So that's why Dhruva Maharaj into that meditation, I feel. So that's very nice, and bhajan also very good. So this bhajan is from which? Who wrote this first bhajan, Prabhu?
This one we do not know. Actually, we can find out. We'll let you know. But this is
No.
actually from the Bengali Vaishnava song compilation book that is
Okay.
there. It's called Bhakti Giti Sanchayan. It is, BBT, ISKCON BBT produced, but we didn't find this song in KK songs or anything. But in Mayapur, we would sing this bhajan a lot,
Okay,
So,
Mataji.
but it's there in the Bengali Vaishnava songbook. It's there.
Okay, I'm hearing first time. So
Yes, yes.
for a few lines, right? So it is very nice. You composed very nicely. So thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji.
Thank
Wonderful
you.
session again. Hare Krishna,
Thank you.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we were thinking that because we talked about Lord Narayan today, so we thought that, we can sing something about Lord Narayan. That's the reason why
Yeah.
we selected this particular bhajan.
Yeah, very nice, Mataji. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna Sharanam Prabhu.
What a beautiful narration. For the pictures are beautiful when you were describing Krishna, the Supreme Lord, his beautiful face and all the limbs of the Lord. They are so beautiful. And bhajan is, of course, as you said, it's very nice. Prabhuji, after like Supreme Lord blessed Dhruva to rule for 36,000 years on this world, and when he finishes this life, he will go back to Godhead. So is that Dhruva Loka? So where is Dhruva Star? How is Dhruva Star in this connection?
Yeah, that is a very wonderful question. It is in Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada describes in great detail, and I have to recollect now exactly what he says, but something similar to it is there in the spiritual world as well as it is here.
Although it is part of this material world,
Yes.
it is actually spiritual world because it is not annihilated during the material destruction.
And Prabhupada gives the example of an embassy. Like if you go in United States, if you go to Indian embassy, in the Indian embassy, even though it is in United States physically, but within the Indian embassy, the rules of India apply. The rules of US will not apply in that Indian embassy, even though physically it's located. Similarly, the pole star is physically located in the material world.
We can see it.
But the rules of spiritual world apply there. The rules of material world don't apply there. It's like the embassy of the spiritual world in the material world.
Yeah, and it is so shining because the Supreme Lord is actually present there along with Dhruva Maharaj. And that is why the Lord says that this is my abode. This Dhruva Nakshatra, this Dhruva Tara, this is actually my abode. It is the spiritual world. Very special.
Okay, Prabhu, that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the question, Prabhu.
Your voice immediately cut, but anyway, I think maybe you dropped off or something.
No, since Supreme Lord stays in that Dhruva planet, it is like part of Lord's place.
Yes.
Yes. After you complete your life here, you will come back to me. So
yes.
He's there, so he's okay. Thank you.
When during dissolution, that pole star doesn't get dissolved.
During Pralaya,
Pralaya.
nothing happens to the pole star.
At the end of Brahma's day or at the end of Brahma's lifetime, there are partial destruction, total destruction, but nothing happens to the pole star because it's part of the spiritual world.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anjudi, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Shri
Jai
Radhe.
Shri Radhe. Thank you so much for these beautiful virtual parikrama. It's so awesome. We just don't feel that we are doing virtually, and like when I saw about this Madhuvan and all, I don't remember. Maybe when I was very young, I would have gone, but I don't recollect going over there. And this time when I go, I will make sure that I visit Dhruva, where he performed worship to Lord. And as Bhaiya said that he experienced, so I will also try to stay over there for a longer time. The experience was so mesmerizing and so beautiful. And your description of Lord Narayana and that story was, I don't have words to describe. It was so beautiful, and it took me to another level. Like it was just like you just feel like close your eyes and you also start meditating. What all are you doing in this material world? It just makes you feel that. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much for these narrative descriptions. Beautiful bhajan, everything so beautiful. What else we can ask for? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Very
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam Sulochana. Hare Krishna.
My Siksha Guru take darshan of Dauji Mataji. First Vrindavan Yatra, first taking Dauji darshan, and after all we surrounded and Panchakosa Parikrama and Mathura, all Madhuvana, all Lilas. And after so many years, I recollect all those memories with my Siksha Guru Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. And Krishna appeared before Dhruva Maharaj. Swami said that, as strong as senses, it's still after 36,000 years, no doubt about that you are not fallen. Bhagavantudu say beautiful words, Mataji. Thank you so much. And explaining about Dhruva Loka ambassador, kya bolte
Embassy.
Embassy. EMBASSY.
Embassy.
Embassy. It's a beautiful example. And Dhruva Loka. Here about this Kada now, I feel how Dhruva live alone in Dhruva Loka without Krishna. I feel like that.
But Krishna is there with him.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Any other questions, comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji, please accept
Hare Krishna Keshavi.
Hare Krishna narrations, Mataji. In Kartik month, we are we are listening so nectarian classes, Mataji. And you both look so beautiful in same color dresses every day. So beautiful, Mataji. Mataji, I'm having a silly question. At the time of devastation, all the planets, they dip in the water, right? But it's open space, right, Mataji? It's an open space. Like how everything goes in the water, like it fills with water, all the space.
Actually, it is said that there is a space, but then the sweat of the Lord, like if you see Mahavishnu, he lies down on the causal ocean. There is the causal ocean. So this is there is space, but there is also water. Where does the Mahavishnu lie down? He lies on the causal ocean, on a bed on the causal ocean. And that is called the Karanodak Shai Sagar. Karanodak Sagar. Karana Udak means one who is the cause of all causes, like that kind of ocean. Then from his pore, there is so many, each pore universes come out. So each universe is like a bubble, and within that bubble, there is some sweat of the Lord, because when the pores, when it comes out, there is the bubble, and in the lower level, there is the sweat, which becomes a Garbhodak ocean, on which Mahavishnu expands as Garbhodak Shai Vishnu, and he sits there. From his navel, there is a lotus stem, and all the universes are there on the lotus stem. During destruction, they all go into the Garbhodak ocean, which is nothing else than the sweat of the Lord within each universe, of sweat of Mahavishnu. So that ocean, the waves come out and it just dissolves everything. The sweat of the Lord, which for us is like an ocean, like for an ant, if we are sweating, that sweat, if it falls on that ant will, completely dissolve.
It will be like big mountain falling on the ant.
So like that sweat, a little sweat of the Lord, for us, it's like a destruction ocean. But ocean is already there. It's just at the bottom where Lord Vishnu is residing, on the Sheshanag, Mahavishnu in the Karanodak Sagar, and Garbhodak Shai Vishnu within each universe in the Garbhodak Sagar.
Hare Krishna Prabhu is so wonderful. And when I'm trying to imagine, I'm not able to imagine also.
Well, I mean, imagine how gigantic Mahavishnu would be, how huge he is, that this happens during partial destruction. Then during the complete annihilation, they all actually come back, because one exhalation, Mahavishnu sends forth everything. And when he inhales,
all of them come back.
They come back into his pore.
Into each of these pores. So that is partial destruction. And so we are living multiple lifetimes in one breath of Vishnu.
Imagine how big he is.
He's just exhaling, and we think, oh, this is a huge lifetime. But this is just not even one breath of Vishnu. And
Krishna is the origin and source of Mahavishnu. So imagine how much Krishna is, what Krishna is.
So, Mataji, yeah, no words. Actually, I don't know what to say also. It's imaginary, very high. Mataji, but for the pleasure of Krishna, he created so many living entities and so many material worlds, so many planets. Why he has created these things, Mataji? I wanted to ask.
Well, Srila Prabhupada said that this material world, not just our planet, but the entire material creation is just 1/4 of the entire creation. 3/4 is spiritual world. We are just in the 1/4. And, our planet is that tiny little one, which is called as Earth. And in that Earth, we are living in this small city, in that little small home. So how tiny we are. So Srila Prabhupada gives this example that just like how when we breathe, we as human beings, we breathe, so many microorganisms, they enter. There are so many fireflies. They have a duration only of a few
24 hours.
Yeah, less than 24 hours in our calculation. But in those 24 hours, they live their entire lifetime. They are born, they grow up, they have their family, they procreate, and then they die also. All within the 24 hours. So if microorganisms can do like that, then we can relate, we can expand this, that how devatas might be looking down upon us, that how big devatas are, then how big is Lord Vishnu, and then who is Krishna. So this material creation is just 1/4 of the creation, entire creation. 3/4 is the spiritual world. So how huge the spiritual world is.
Yes, Mataji. So
And it
beautiful.
is said in one of the Puranas, in Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada quotes that Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. So why did Krishna expand into so many? Because Eko Bahunam Yo, he became from one, he became many. Eko means one, Bahunam means many. Why? Yo Vidadhati Kaman, to increase his pleasure. Because he wants to reciprocate with someone. Love is only in reciprocation. So out of love, he expanded into many living entities and demigods, and then Balaram, Srimati Radharani, all of that, in order to have loving exchanges. Yo Vidadhati Kaman, like that. So that's the whole purpose. The purpose of life is really not just to grow up and do some job and things like that, but the purpose for which we were created was, and that will only give us satisfaction, is if we have loving reciprocation with Krishna, because that's the purpose for which we were created. Otherwise, there is no purpose for our existence.
Srila Prabhupada gave this example that, when a city is created, a prison house is also made, right, by the designers of the city. So the prison house is not the entire city. It is just one part of the city where unwanted and unscrupulous people are put inside. Criminals are put inside that prison house. So for rectification, but some people, they actually start their family life over there. There are so many, children who are born in the prison. So imagine the children who are born in the prison, they feel, oh, this is the entire world. There's nothing outside of this prison. Imagine that. And then when they one day come out, they're like, oh, wow, okay, that was just one small part. And the entire city is there. And apart from the city, the entire world is there. The state, the country, the world, so similarly, when we also try to see from Shastra Chakshu, from the eyes of the scriptures, then we can understand that what is the nature of this material creation and what is the spiritual creation of the Lord. How magnanimous and, what magnitude is this entire creation.
Yes, Mataji, you're right. So when you both are explaining, I was thinking Krishna, for the pleasure or happiness, he created this, but not you, but me. I'm saying, I'm talking about myself. I'm not able to satisfy Krishna. I'm not able to give him happiness, and I'm giving a lot of pain to him that by not worshipping properly, or I'm feeling so sad, Mataji. We are not able to make Krishna happy actually. But
Well, all of us keep trying. All of us, we are all in the same boat trying to please Guru and Krishna. So as long as we are continuing with sincerity, we are not offending Vaishnavas, and we are just always glorifying Vaishnavas. We are serving Vaishnavas with, genuine feeling of, love and trust. Then Srila Prabhupada and Krishna will automatically be happy.
Yes, Mataji. And one more thing I want to share, Mataji, like because of you and Prabhuji, Mahavara Prabhu called me and Mahaprabhu, and he gave a wonderful service, Mataji. And it's all because of you and Prabhuji, because we are recognized only by you and Prabhuji. So Mahavara Prabhu always remember, he says me like, you are Kalasudha Mataji, you are Shiksha Good, right? He says all the time to me. So we are so fortunate because of you. You are far in US, but we are in India, Hyderabad. Still, we are getting service, Mataji, through your mercy and Prabhuji's mercy.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Mataji. For all your blessings and prayers, everything, Mataji. Please, don't leave us. I know we are so far and not able to talk to you every day, but don't leave us, Mataji. We want to be always to
We
your
are
lotus.
always, I'm always holding you close to my heart. Even if you want to go, I will not let you go.
Oh, thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your
Thank you.
sweet
Thank you,
words,
Keshavi.
Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna, Keshavi. Radha?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Radha. Dandavat Pranam.
Oh, Mataji, follow-up question, Mataji.
Yes.
Mataji, like, Krishna has created the everything, anything, everything. Then, even our destiny or, everything is being pre-decided. Right? So then, why so many, I mean, we are not, uh, it means that we don't have exactly that free will, right?
Hmm.
Then what's
We
the
can think like that. Yeah, yeah. No,
then what's the purpose of we? I mean, I'm unable to. Sometimes I really get confused with all these.
okay, we have, Prabhu explains this fantastically. The way Srila Prabhupada explained it, it can become very crystal clear to you. So
everything is not pre-decided. There is destiny, but it is like the upper limit. For example, if a goat is tied to one pole and it's tied with a rope, then whatever is the radius or circumference of that rope, to that extent the goat can graze the grass. But within that circumference, it has the free will to graze anywhere. The upper limit is there. Beyond that length of the rope, it cannot go. But within the length of the rope, it has free will. So free will and destiny work like that. We have free will. It is limited as long as we are bound by the laws of karma. It is limited. We have our upper limit, like we have a kind of a body that is given. We have a specific type of intelligence that's given. We have a specific type of mind and nature that is given to us. That is destiny. But how we use that is our free will. We cannot think beyond our intelligence, but within that we can use whatever intelligence is given. We can use that to collaborate and grow and things like that. However, with whatever kind of material propensity is there, with whatever kind of material destiny is there, if everyone has the freedom to surrender to Krishna, for that there is no upper limit. That is not destined. That is always available. And if one surrenders in spiritual life, there is no destiny for that. Spiritual life is completely based on free will, because Krishna wants us to turn to him voluntarily out of love, not out of forced by nature or something like that. So once we surrender to Krishna, then our destiny also changes. That's what Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, that if we want to change the destiny, then we surrender to Krishna. Mayam etam tarantite. So that person can go beyond this limitations put upon us by Maya. Does that address some of your question?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes. But sometimes, Prabhu, like, we take some decisions.
Yes.
And, and we think so much for that decision. And, it's like, with so many hardships or something, we come up to some kind of decision. But, at the end, again, that decision changes again. And that happens, what Krishna wants, that only will happen. But meantime, what we suffer and all, it's like, why we have to suffer that? When, that thing has to happen, then why we have to suffer this?
It's not like it is a lot of things are not destined. The upper limit is destined, but the day-to-day activity When you wake up in the morning, that is not destined. When you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is not destined. We may make a decision once we, for example, when you are in your initial place, you can make a decision to go to another place by car or by plane or by train. You can make that choice. But once you make the decision, you buy the ticket for a plane and you are mid-flight, you can't change that decision. Now you're mid-flight, now you will reach that destiny. Your destiny is set, that you are in the plane and now you will go there. Now you have to just follow the steps and go there. But whether you can go by car or bus or plane, that is your destiny. Now within the plane, even though your overall destiny is destined, within the plane, you have your free will, little free will. You can also, you can either drink water, you can drink juice, you can drink you can talk to your fellow passenger, maybe get a business contact.
You can exchange your seats.
You can exchange your seats with someone, and then maybe you'll sit next to a devotee who can enlighten you. All of these things can happen. So yes, once you make a decision, a lot of things get destined, but a lot of things are still free will generated. So even though we made a decision in your example, if we make a decision and as a result of that decision, the result is not what we liked, it's up to us whether we suffer or whether we choose whether that affects us or not. So it is, and the purpose, and if Krishna has made that happen, then he has made that happen for a reason. If we are suffering as a result of that, then a devotee takes that suffering as an excuse to go deeper into our sadhana, to go deeper into taking shelter of Krishna. That is the test of sincerity, is when Krishna puts us in a situation that we generally don't like. Those who are sincere, they will go deeper and take more shelter. But those who are not sincere, they will say, oh, I thought Krishna will help me. He's not helping me. He doesn't exist. Forget about why chant Hare Krishna. Then we become more insincere. So Krishna actually filters the sincere devotees from insincere by doing this.
And also,
but if we take shelter of Krishna, we will see that we will get more and more unbind, and he will inspire those decisions within us more and more. In fact, in one place I was hearing that if we do not chant good 16 rounds, then a lot of things start happening. People stop behaving nicely with us or talking nicely with us. Same activity takes longer time. And so many different, we start seeing faults in others and things like that. But if we chant our 16 rounds every day, then Krishna will inspire us from within what to do. Or Krishna is always inspiring us. We will be able to hear his inspiration. Otherwise, within our mind, there is the inspiration of lust and pride and greed and anger. And along with that, Krishna's voice is also coming to us. But all of these voices, including Krishna's voice, sound the same. And so we are not able to distinguish. But if we chant our 16 rounds every day regularly, then we get the clarity of consciousness with which we can decipher which is Krishna's voice, which is the voice of our anarthas. And then whatever Krishna helps us, that's why Guru, we take instructions from a Guru, because he's in touch with the Paramatma and he can tell us what is the right decision. And if we chant 16 good rounds, we will be able to also hear the voice of the Paramatma.
And we must definitely understand that Krishna, when we do chant good 16 rounds, we will have this realization that, okay, I did not expect this kind of result. Maybe this result is not what I really want or what I was expecting. But so this may not be good for, right now. What is happening is definitely not good, but it is for my good. This is how a devotee thinks, that it is for my good. It definitely may not be good, but it is for my good. It is because Krishna can never do anything bad to his devotee. He will never allow that to happen. So we must try to see in every situation, if it is any kind of, not a favorable thing, we must try to see, we must try to consult our seniors, explain our situation to them, and they will be able to show us that, look, this is the hidden good that is there in this result that is given to us by Krishna. The situation that Krishna has put us in, this is the way that we can see it, we can perceive it, and then we have a totally different kind of a revelation that is, that can come upon us.
And if we are suffering for some reason, then a devotee, a sincere devotee, will say, Krishna, I am yours, Tavasmi. You know what is best for me. I don't know what is best for me. Please guide me how I can get out of the situation and surrender to you more and more. Just like Gajendra said, please take me out of this situation and also help me to surrender to you.
Haribo.
So short term as well as long term. Krishna, I am yours. Maro bhi rakho bhi je ichha tuhar. Nitya dasha prati tuadhikar. Krishna, I am yours. You have the right. I'm your servant. You have the right to treat however you want to me. But please keep me in your shelter. Keep guiding me. And whatever you guide, allow me to hear your guidance.
Haribo.
I'm yours.
Hope this answers your question, Radha.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, simply superb explanation, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, definitely I'll do that. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Fantastic question. Thank you so much, Radha. And Surya Prabhu, it's wonderful to have you back and, to have your association, your wonderful comments. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And Mataji, as Kesha Mataji has told, please don't leave me also, Mataji.
You all are always, we take shelter of all of you, There's no question of us leaving. Thank you. Thank you so much, Radha. Thank you. You all are extremely dear to my heart. Always, always.
Any other questions, comments? If not, we can continue tomorrow, same time, in the Shri Vraja Meditations 2.0.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Prabhuji, Dandavat.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.